Summary of Les Misérables by Victor Hugo. Chapter 1. Jean Valjean, the prisoner 24601. Jean Valjean, a humble peasant crushed by poverty, was sentenced to 19 years in prison for stealing a single loaf of bread to save his 7 starving nieces and nephews. Initially condemned to 5 years, his repeated escape attempts extended his torment, branding him prisoner 24601, a soul steeped in the bitter injustice of 19th-century French society. The prison years forged a man brimming with resentment, cast out even after his release. Freed yet forsaken, Valjean wandered with no refuge, shunned for his ex-convict papers. In the depths of despair, Bishop Bienvenu Myriel offered him shelter and a warm meal, a flicker of hope in his bleak world. Yet tragedy struck anew. Valjean stole the bishop's silver and fled, only to be recaptured. The bishop's astounding mercy, forgiving him, claiming the silver was a gift, and presenting 2 silver candlesticks with a plea to live virtuously, melted Valjean's hardened heart. From a pariah scorned by society, he resolved to redeem himself, shattering his past identity to live incognito as Madeleine, though the dark shadow of his former life clung to him like an unescapable curse. Chapter 2. Bishop Myriel, a beacon amid the gloom. Jean Valjean, broken and adrift after prison, found solace with Bishop Bienvenu Myriel, who embraced him despite his status as a despised ex-convict, offering a roof and a meal. Yet the darkness within Valjean persisted. One night, driven by despair, he stole the bishop's silver and fled, carrying the weight of a society's rejection. Police dragged him back, but a miracle unfolded. The bishop, with divine grace, lied that the silver was a gift, handed him 2 silver candlesticks, and urged a life of virtue. This act of compassion pierced the gloom of Valjean's soul, yet it birthed a tragic fate. He abandoned his identity, teetering between light and shadow, haunted by his prison past and the relentless pursuit of justice in a society that never forgives the fallen. Chapter 3. Fantine, the tragic saga of a mother. Fantine, a destitute maiden betrayed by her lover after bearing Cosette, became an outcast as an unwed mother. Stripped of her job at Madeleine's factory for her secret, she entrusted Cosette to the Thénardiers, only to face their merciless exploitation. Fantine sold her hair, teeth, and finally her body as a prostitute, her frail form wasting away in anguish, her heart shattered by longing for her child and the shame of her plight. Valjean, now Mayor Madeleine, vowed to rescue her, but tragedy loomed as Javert suspected his true identity. Fantine perished in misery, clinging to Valjean's promise to care for Cosette. Moments later, Valjean was arrested, unable to fulfill his oath, leaving Cosette in the clutches of villains. Her death wailed against a society's injustice, where a mother's love drove her to ruin, her dream of reunion with her daughter dissolving into eternal darkness. Chapter 4. Javert's relentless hunt and Valjean's redemption. Valjean fell under the unyielding gaze of Javert, a stern police inspector who uncovered his past and pursued him without mercy. At a trial, when Champmathieu, an innocent man, was mistaken for Valjean, he wrestled with a soul-rending dilemma: reveal himself and lose his hard-won life, or stay silent and betray his conscience. He chose honor, stepping forward, only to be seized and stripped of everything. Escaping prison once more, Valjean lived in hiding, nurturing Cosette while evading Javert, law's cold embodiment. Their chase symbolized the clash of rigid justice and human compassion. Valjean sought redemption through noble deeds, yet tragedy shadowed him. His prison past and a merciless society weighed heavily, threatening to snatch Cosette, his sole beacon, into the abyss of despair. Chapter 5. Cosette, a childhood shrouded in darkness. Cosette endured a childhood of torment under the Thénardiers at their Montfermeil inn, exploited, beaten, and treated as a slave. On a frigid Christmas Eve, she was forced to fetch water in a dark forest, her frail frame trembling like a snowflake on the verge of melting, each step a silent sob against a cruel world's indifference. Valjean, freshly escaped from prison, found her, witnessing her abuse, and resolved to save her. He paid the Thénardiers to free her from this earthly hell, yet her scars remained. Cosette became Valjean's cherished daughter, nurtured with love and education, a light amid the gloom. Yet tragedy lurked. Valjean's fugitive life cast a shadow, fearing his past would steal their fragile happiness. Chapter 6. The Convent, Sanctuary of the Soul. After narrowly escaping Javert in a Paris alley, Valjean and Cosette fled to the Petit Picpus convent. Aided by Fauchelevent, a gardener Valjean once saved, they found rare peace amid life's storm, but at the cost of isolation, like forgotten shadows in society's darkness. Valjean toiled as a gardener, while Cosette grew into a gentle, innocent girl. Their bond deepened, yet the past's ghosts and Javert's pursuit haunted them, denying Valjean true rest. The convent was a haven for their battered souls, but its tranquility was a fragile illusion, ever threatened by the revelation of Valjean's past, risking all they had built to the jaws of fate. Chapter 7. Marius, Youth and Revolutionary Zeal. Marius Pontmercy, a young student, renounced his royalist family for republican ideals, living in poverty yet brimming with spirit. He met Cosette in the Luxembourg Gardens, their silent glances igniting a passionate love, but Valjean's fear of losing her drove him to block Marius, plunging Cosette into silent agony and Marius into the despair of unfulfilled love, a heart torn between light and shadow. In 1832, Paris's revolutionary fervor rose. Marius joined Les Amis de l'Abc, Friends of the Oppressed, led by Enjolras, a band of idealistic students ready to die for freedom. They prepared for a bloody uprising, but tragedy loomed. Their noble dreams would pay a steep price in blood and tears on the barricades, where Marius's heart ached for both love and liberty. Chapter 8. The Barricade, Struggle, Sacrifice, and Ideals. The June 1832 uprising erupted in Paris as Marius and Les Amis de l'Abc built barricades against the monarchy. Amid smoke and gunfire, their camaraderie, bravery, and youthful ideals shone. Yet the revolt crumbled, claiming most of Marius's comrades, including Enjolras, leaving him with an unhealing wound of grief. Valjean stormed the barricade, carrying the injured Marius through Paris's sewers to save him, for Cosette's love. There, he spared Javert, his relentless pursuer, in a heart-wrenching act of humanity, sparking Javert's own tragedy. The fallen barricade and the blood of the young cried out, a painful testament to the cost of ideals in a society drowning in injustice, where dreams faded into a cruel dawn. Chapter 9. Forgiveness, Redemption, and the Law's Collapse. Javert, spared by Valjean at the barricade, plunged into a crisis of faith. His beliefs in justice and duty shattered before Valjean's compassion, a man he deemed a criminal. Unable to reconcile his ideals with gratitude, he released Valjean, but inner torment drove him to leap into the Seine, leaving a void of sorrow. His death symbolized the law's rigid failure, lacking room for mercy, a mournful knell for outdated doctrines. Meanwhile, Valjean persisted in his redemption, yet tragedy lingered. His past and sacrifices burdened his fate, forcing him to face fresh losses in a world that never truly forgave, casting a shadow over his noble path. Chapter 10. Love, Truth, and the Final Sacrifice. Marius survived to marry Cosette, but Valjean's revelation of his past as a convict sparked Marius's rejection, steeped in prejudice. Valjean withdrew into solitude, his final days steeped in the agony of unacknowledged sacrifice. A forsaken figure in society's darkness, his heart breaking as he parted from his beloved daughter. When the truth emerged that Valjean saved Marius, Cosette and Marius rushed to his side. Valjean passed peacefully, surrounded by them, the glow of Bishop Muriel's silver candlesticks illuminating his last moments, a symbol of redemption. Yet his death was a silent tragedy. He sacrificed his joy to shield Cosette's, leaving an unfillable void, a poignant reminder of love's cost in an unjust world. Conclusion. Les Misérables is an epic saga of human destiny in 19th century France, scarred by injustice, poverty, and revolution. It sings of compassion, mercy, and the yearning for salvation. As Valjean, Fantine, Cosette, and Marius confront fates steeped in tragedy, from searing losses to unheeded sacrifices. Victor Hugo crafts a world where darkness reigns, yet the light of humanity endures, proving that even the wretched deserve love, forgiveness, and dignity. Through their suffering, the work offers a tragic yet hopeful message. Only love and compassion can redeem humanity from life's torments, though the price may be solitude and irreparable wounds etched deep in the soul.